everyone, Stephanie here, coffee drinker, book lover, and reviewer of many things, and today I'm drinking water. Well, at this moment, I'm drinking water. I've already had my coffee and a soda for the day. It is close to bedtime when I'm recording this, so water. Today, I am going to be talking about a book that is on the preteen teen reading challenge called Upside Down Magic. And got my little book journal here, and I'm something a little bit different today. I'm going to be reading the synopsis off of this screen that I have over here. I have two screens, by the way. I can see myself in this one, and this is where I have the synopsis pulled up. So, yeah. If you decide you want to read this book, I want you to 100% know that it is absolutely not like the TV movie that Disney has put out. Okay? Just like most fairy tales that Disney does, it is nice and pretty, and it's been magical. Like, they magicked away all of the really bad stuff. So I'm going to read you the synopsis. I'm hoping this is just going to be a short video because I'm tired. But I'm trying to get on top of the videos that I need to do so that I have time to edit them without rushing. Um, it sounds weird, but it's spring break when I'm recording this, and my kid is still doing some school, but we're doing this afternoon big activity thing every day this week. So I feel like I gotta record and edit whenever I can. So I'm like, ugh. uh, so the little thing that the in town is doing for it's called Spring Break Staycation. Yeah, it's a staycation. Um, the first day was planet planets. It was really cool. They had like this air bubble that you went into, and then they projected a video about planets onto the side of the dome, and you got to sit and watch it. And then there were some other things that you did. And then Tuesday is like a foam party, so it's they get to play with foam. I don't really understand. And then Wednesday, there's like nothing educational on Tuesday. Wednesday is what was Wednesday? Oh, there's a children's mobile museum coming. And then Thursday there's like a bounce house thing, but it's not like the bounce house that you get in. It's the ones that like the blow up basketball hoops and targets that you can practice on. And then Friday is going to be a crocodile thing. And so yeah, even though it's spring break and I feel like I should relax and have more time, I feel like oh my gosh, I have no time to do anything. Um because my kid also doesn't have gymnastics this week. So we got to keep a routine of some kind. So I had to keep doing school, and we do a 4 day school week anyway. So this helps us stay within the standards of a school year. Anyway, so we're reading. I read Upside Down Magic in February. Okay, and I really liked it. It was so cute. Um, And I did not read this one out loud to my kid, but we listened to it. I listened to it where she could hear it, whether she was listening, I have no clue. So I'm gonna read the synopsis. This is the first book in a series, just so you know. It's by three authors. Don't ask me to say their names. I'll say their first names: Sarah, Lauren, and Emily. Okay. Meet the Upside Down Magic Kids in the first topsy-turvy venture of the New York Times bestseller series and now a Disney Channel original movie. It's never easy when your magic goes wonky. For Nori, this means that instead of being able to turn into a dragon or a kitten, she turns into them at the same time. A dritten. For Elliot, the simple act of conjuring fire with his fingertips turns into a fully frozen failure. For Andre, wonky magic means he's always floating in the air, bouncing off the walls, or sitting on the. For Bax, a bad moment of magic will turn him into a. Well, actually, he'd rather not talk about it. Nori, Elliot, Andre, and Bax are just four of the students in Dunwhittle's magic school's upside down magic class. They're in their classroom. Lessons are unconventional, are unpredictable. Magic has a tendency to turn wonky at the worst possible moment because it's always amazing the trouble a little wonky magic can cause. So, I said I really liked this book. I almost gave it a 5 star. In my little reading journal here, title Upside Down Magic, author. I put all 3 authors. The date I started this was February 17th, 2026, and I finished this February 17th, 2026, because I believe we were sick this day and we were just chilling at home, laying around, listening to stuff. Or we were coming down from being sick. I'm not positive. I gave this 4 stars and a little bit more. The little bit more that I couldn't give it a full 5 stars, okay? Um, there were a few things that I was like about, and I'll talk about those later. Do I recommend this book? Absolutely. It is so cute, and I want to read the next book in the series. Actually, I want to read all 8 books. Um, oh, I can get all 8 books right now for $38.90. I might be doing that. Hello. I didn't know that. Anyway, genre fantasy middle grade. Pages or hours. This was 3 hours and 8 minutes long, which is why I got it listened to in a day. Chapters, there were 18. More by the authors, the rest of the series. I wasn't going to go and do each individual author's stuff because I don't have enough space for that. Favorite character, I added an S to character. So it says characters, Aunt Margot and Principal Gonzalez. My favorite quote is by Principal Gonzalez. I will not tolerate bigotry. I will not tolerate unkindness about race, gender, orientation, family, background, religion, weight, magical ability, or favorite candy, or anything else at this school. He's really cool. He stays invisible for the majority of the book. Like, nobody knows he's there until that quote happens. And before that quote, I think we see him once. And there's a joke, you never know where he's going to be because he's invisible. My review of this book, I kept it short, trying not to do too many spoilery type things. This book was so good. Sorry. Should have spaced out my letters. It's all about embracing your differences, learning how to be uniquely yourself, even when it seems that everyone is against it. Nori has to learn this while her dad and older siblings shun her, and when they finally talk to her, it's to ask if she's normal yet. And her dad never talks to her. Her siblings also tell her to keep trying, she'll get it. Along this path of trying to be normal, she moves in with her aunt. She has no choice. And she starts a new school with a new class specifically for kids with unusual magic. She has a great teacher and makes some really good friends. She starts to learn how to control her power, but decides that she likes her friends that she's made more than if she was normal. And like that, she's not normal. She likes that she's not normal. Um, I think that's a pretty good summary. Her It starts out with her big test coming up to see if she can get into the school that her dad is the principal of. He is not a very good dad. He isn't available most of the time, majority of the time when Nori is still at home. And her older brother is usually in charge and taking care of them and making sure they're eating and doing their schoolwork and helping Nori take care of the mess she made because in the beginning when she's practicing to turn into an animal, she loses her mind. Like when she turns into a animal combination because she's trying for a kitten and then the kitten turns into a beaver slash kitten slash something else. I don't even know. And her mind takes the back seat. She tries, you're in her mind and you hear her trying to break past the beaver being like, "Ooh, look, wood." But she can't break free. Like she can't take control. She's lost control until something big happens. Like cold water is splashed on her or she tastes something that's nasty. Um and her brother helps her cover it up always. Her brother can do the fire thing with his hands or push fire out. Her older sister is can control animals, can communicate with animals, and they are both very good for the most part at their powers. Occasionally, her sister's animals go a little crazy, so Nori's brother will use that to help Nori. Oh, those rabbits got out. I don't know what happened. Like nobody noticed when everything was chewed up in in Dad's office. Um, it's it's like Nori doesn't really exist in her family except when her brother is hiding what she's done. If that makes sense. She talks about how the time before she turned into like a fire breathing dragon and a cross of something else and she set the couch on fire and her brother tells dad that his fire just got out of control for a minute while he was being silly trying to do something I don't remember while he's already the top of the school. So dad's like, well, we don't play with our magic. um okay. um Like I said, brother is in charge. And then when Nori goes and takes the test and she fails the test, she thinks once she's sort of failed the cat test, that if she goes using the dragon form and does all of the other tests, she should be allowed in. I get it. I mean, she's going into the 5th grade. She's like 10. Yeah, I get that. I get that way of thinking. It doesn't work, but I do want to point out that while she's in dragon form, she does hover the proper amount off the ground, and she does toast the marshmallow. So therefore, I think she should be allowed in the school. But no, she is not allowed in the school, and her dad doesn't say anything to her. She gets home, nothing is said to her by her sister or her brother or her dad. They eat, and then dad leaves, and there's like before dad leaves, he's like, "She'll be here soon." But make sure you help her take care of her. It's like very cryptic. What? And then all of a sudden Aunt Marge is there, and she's like, "Oh, I haven't seen you forever," and she hugs all the kids, and she's like the fun, cool aunt. And she's like, "Okay, Nori, let's go." And Nori's like, "What?" And her older brother's like, "Yeah, don't worry, I already packed you a bag. We'll send the rest of it later." And the aunt is like, "You nobody told her what was happening." And she like bangs on the ceiling. She floats up and she bangs on the ceiling and she yells to her brother-in-law, whoever Nori's dad is, to her, "You gotta open up about your feelings." Um and then takes Nori to her house, like, "Don't worry, kiddo, it'll be fine." And Nori's just like, "You take me away from my home, my family doesn't love me anymore." Like, what do you think she's gonna feel like? Um, I felt so bad, okay? I felt so bad for Nori. Um, but she starts at the new school. She's told to watch out for a certain person because they're scary and they send animal creatures running. And Nori is mostly she transforms into animals. And so she's like, but she didn't take it that way. She took it like, this person is a bad person and they're a bully, you should stay away from them. And so she's like terrified that she's going to run into this person, and she sneaks into a janitor's closet because things are getting overwhelming and she just needs a minute. And while she's like, someone in the closet with her is like, "Hey, would you like a lemon drop?" She's like, "Oh, sure." And so she takes the lemon drop and she's had some time to calm down. And these two girls, they get to know each other a little bit. And before they get to class, she's like, "Oh yeah, apparently we're supposed to look out for this person." And the girl goes, "Oh, uh, why?" And before Nori can say anything, they're swept inside with the rest of the class. And she sits down where the person that walked her to school was, and then they all take turns doing their thing, talking about what their magic is, except for Bax. I don't think Bax tells them. Okay, Bax turns into a rock, and then he can't get out of it. Um, so yeah, and he's afraid of people with hammers. you learn about their fears. Their teacher is really great. So when it's Nori's turn to introduce herself to the class and tell about her powers, um, she she changes into some kind of animal, and she ends up hiding underneath the desk because that girl, she doesn't really have a power per se, like, just being in her vicinity makes an animal go kind of, like, feel scared and helpless. So, that is what the problem was. It wasn't that she was a bad person or anything. In fact, she ends up being a really great person. Um, and I just really enjoyed the book. The teacher is, like, my favorite one of my favorite people. She's she gets a little, and I feel like maybe a little insensitive at sometimes because Andre and no, Elliot, who is it? Nori and one of the boys. I think it was Elliot. Who has the magic or the fire? Yeah, her and Elliot are trying to conquer their powers so that they can be transferred to a normal class because both of them are like, we don't belong here. We don't belong here. The teacher has been teaching them meditation and like trust things, and they're learning a lot of really great things on how to keep control of your emotions and your feelings. And they're kind of like, no, we're gonna do this. And the teacher is like, and so she kind of claps back at them, and I feel like she's not so nice. Um, but she's like, fine, fine. My class isn't good enough for you. And she lets them audition, try out, show that they have control of their powers to the principal, and that's when we first see him. And the principal, and they do a good job. They have a book, they've been practicing and all of this stuff. And they do a very good job, but um they kind of lose themselves because they focus so much on trying to be normal that they don't focus on what else they can do. Like, for Elliot, he can also conjure ice and cold, but when he starts focusing on his fire only, he can't control the ice and the cold. Or when Nori has focused so hard on just being one animal for so long that when she needs to be multiple things, she almost can't. And it almost risks Andre's life. Um, I know this, it's not making much sense, but I don't want to give it all away. So something happens between Elliot and the other fire kids, and they are not good people. Like, the rest of the class is even like, why does he even want to be friends with them? They're not even nice to each other. Um, like, yeah. And so the head girl, she's not very nice. She ends up setting Andre's rope that they keep him tethered to the ground with, like, someone's always holding his rope. She sets his rope on fire. If we don't, at this point in the book, we don't know how high he can go. We don't know what's going to happen if he doesn't have that rope. He is afraid that Andre is afraid if the rope is gone, then he'll just keep going and then he'll die because he can't breathe in space. There's no oxygen. And it's a big deal. So the bad group of kids, I guess they're not bad, okay? They're rude and mean. The mean group of kids is trying to get Andre to make them icicle not Andre, Elliot to make them icicles, and he's like, "Oh, I don't do that anymore. I can only do fire." And she's like, "Oh, really?" And she, like, sparks over to the rope, and the rope is on fire, and Andre is freaking out, and everyone else in class is freaking out. And, uh, Elliot finally gets the ice to work, but it snaps the, the rope, and then, Nori's like, "Bird, bird, 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 bird," and she flies up, but she's a bird. She can't do anything to a boy. And, finally, while she's flying, she concentrates on things that the teacher have told her about how to focus on yourself and what your true inside is, and she grows into a giant bird, and her face changes, like, she makes her face pop out, and she's like, "Hey, it's me, I'm not trying to hurt you." Um, and she's trying to get him to hold on to her, and then she yells down, she's like, "I need a rope!" A rope is thrown up. She thinks that it's Bax. He's finally figured out how to do something other than a rock. And, so she's talking to this rope while she's, like, tying it around Andre. And, whenever they get everything, hunkered down, the principal pops back out into where you can see him, and that's when he said, like, first, he scatters everyone that's not supposed to be there, and then the bad girl who is trying to sneak away, he's like, "Ah, you!" And that's when he says that quote that I told you about, how he won't tolerate the bigotry and all of that stuff in his school, and I was like, "Yes! Lay into her, oh my gosh, I don't care how old she is." That is an important lesson in life. And then, he sends her off and turns to Bax and Elliot, and one of them says, "You're not gonna let us be normal, are you?" And he goes, "Why? Why would you wanna be normal? If you were normal, Andre might not be here." And it's sorta like they're both kind of upset that they're not gonna be normal, and then that weekend, they have a little get together, there's, like, lemonade and stuff in Nori's aunt's backyard, and they're having a good time, and Nori gets a phone call on her aunt's cell phone, and, so Aunt March gives the cell phone, and Nori walks away so she can hear what's going on, and it's her sister and brother, and she's so excited to hear from them, um, and, like, their first question is, "Are you normal yet? Did you pass the test?" She's like, in her mind, she's like, that all that matters to them? And she looks around. She wants to tell them yes, because she technically did pass that test. And she's looking around and she sees, you know, her friends having fun and like the group and how cohesive they are. And she's just filled with happiness. And she's like, no, and I don't think I will. I think I'm good just where I am. And she like hangs up on them. She's like, and she goes back to the, to the party, and I was just so proud of her. I was like, "Yes." Um, I was overwhelmed with happiness, and then the story ended, and I was just like, "Her dad her dad is an a-hole." What? What? How can you have a kid and treat them like that? Like, my kid has her own way of doing things, and that is perfectly fine as long as whatever it is gets done. What's the problem? Um, the dad made me angry. The dad made me wanna cry, okay? Um, Yeah, and so that is upside down magic. I know I kind of just went straight into some spoilers. I didn't spoil too much. Um, I didn't even spoil the best parts. I just spoiled some of the lesser best parts. Okay, so you should definitely listen to this book. Let your older kid, maybe. Well, I mean, I listened to this with my kid. The only thing me and her had to talk about this book was the bullying. Um, like when the mean girls started saying stuff to Andre, like egging him on, and be like, "Oh, you can't because you're a baby," or stuff like that. I would pause and I'd be like, "Did you hear what she said?" And then my kid would be like, "Oh, she's not nice." Um, oh, we talked about how there are people like that, but when we come across those people, we just know that we can walk away or go tell someone. Um, yeah, it was a good book. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I gave it 4 stars and then, like, a little bit more. I think I gave it 4.25 stars on Storygraph, but just 4 stars on Goodreads. I really wish on Goodreads you can do, like, half points or whatever. Um, uh, have you read this book? Have you seen the TV show? The TV show's pretty good too, but it's different. It is 100% different. Um, I'm I might still try to find the next book just so I can read it or I can hear like, see how it goes. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I've got a lot of books to read and catch up on, so I'm not sure. Like this video if you like this video. Comment below if you've listened or read this book. What did you think? Would you let your kid read this book? Uh, and subscribe. If you're not sure if you want to subscribe, you can click my face bubble. It'll pop up down here. Or if you hit pause, my name, Coffee Drinkers Review should pop up somewhere. And share because sharing is caring, and someone else might want to know that this is a good book. I am gonna stop here because I left my kid painting, and now she's really quiet, and I'm concerned. So I'm gonna say goodbye, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye!